That are registered voters in Santa Cruz, in the town. Because if you are, we just need a few signatures to put Alicia Cool on the city council ballot, and this is a form of electoral civil disobedience.
Yes,
and,
this is a personal protest of sorts.
Electoral direct action to put our agendas on the agenda of a city that usually doesn't have our agendas on their agenda. Yeah.
Somebody who's had their vehicle taken.
Yeah.
There you go.
If anybody is voiced in the community that's been recently impacted by the brutal police policies or anti-homeless policies or oppression, anybody want to speak on any of those issues?
I just saw Pirate. He would be the perfect person.
Yeah,
He was
exactly.
I saw him a little way up there, but he would be perfect to speak.
Anybody got eyesight?
I can warm it up if you want.
All right, introducing Wes White. He's running for mayor of Salinas, everybody.
So yeah, my name's Wes White, Salinas resident, co-president of the Salinas Monterey County Homeless Union. We've got like a dozen chapters right now. We have an issue down at Roberts Lake. They're all RVs, and we're trying to get them to stay where they're at. You know, shelter in place, and you know the health orders, as well as just you need stability and you need to be close to services. Where they want to put them is going to be next to a police training facility as well as the College of Law, about 3 miles out of town. So not in walking distance whatsoever. And they're putting barbed wire around the adjoining buildings.
Sounds like a prison.
Exactly, sounds like a prison.
Sounds like the Japanese internment.
Like a Japanese internment camp. So we actually have support with the CRLA. And so that's kind of one of the thrusts is you know, find your allies, find some champions, and you know, stick up for yourself, keep talking about it, keep being about it, and you know, it's just about sticking together and video everything. Video as soon as you see a police roll up, video everything, document, be observant, be objective, ask clarifying questions, and don't interfere, try not to get yourself arrested. But you know, they need to have a justifiable, reasonable, you know, law to back up what they do. And so you need to fight for your rights. Don't give them up. Don't just walk out. You know, people got to live, and that's really what it comes down to. This is already affordable housing, so you know they need to count those affordable housing units, legitimize people, validate people. No police contact, no tickets, no tows. Repealing the RV bans. You know, because like I said, it's affordable housing. Nobody wants to see tents. They don't want to see RVs. They don't want to see anything unless they're going to make money off of you. I mean, if you have an RV, you're a homeowner. That's your home.
Yeah.
So, you know, and you paid for that. You have all the taxes. The only reason they even let anybody do anything is because you're in the Coastal Commission.
Mobile home.
Mobile home, exactly. Exactly, man. So stay strong, man. We're going to rock this thing right now.
One thing I want to mention, I don't know if you were here for the last demonstration, I mentioned how the city is not following the guidelines of the CDC when it comes to the homeless community. And recently they just announced that in Watsonville they had to close down the shelter, the Salvation Army shelter, because I think they said 7 or 8 people, including staff and people who use the facilities, came down with COVID-19. And I was saying, you know, the guidelines of the CDC are that people are given a hotel room to self-isolate. And the city of Santa Cruz, along with other cities, has not followed that. Instead of doing that, they use all these excuses. Oh, it's too expensive. Recently they was said, oh, it's too expensive, but we've done the best we can. That's not true. They haven't followed the guidelines, and we're starting to see the results of that. And so pay attention. When the COVID cases go up and we start seeing it here in our community, right now it's in Watsonville, but you know, when we start seeing it here, which we may already have, but they just haven't noticed or announced it, it's their fault. They could have done something to prevent it, and they didn't. They did not do what's best for our community. So that's why I keep saying we can do better, and I want to keep pointing these things out so that our community knows what's happening. Would anybody else like to speak?
Yeah, I'll do a brief thing, but No pictures, please, okay?
You're in public.
Y'all, I just want to talk about one thing real quick. I was at my friend's house having a retreat. She has a big old couch and a big TV. And so I was getting to watch YouTube on a really nice screen. And I tuned into a particular YouTube about not talking to the police. And man, am I so glad that I watched that particular thing. So I can't tell you everything I heard because it would take way too long, but just, it really taught me, and I thought I already knew this, but there's nothing good, I believe, that can ever come from talking to the police. It does not matter. It does not matter if you are innocent. It does not matter if you are on the other side of the country. This lawyer went through it, and I'm not going to belabor this, but can I just tell you, you have something, especially the more we use it, it's called the Fifth Amendment. You do not have to talk to the police. It is your right to not talk to the police. You can be so harmed by talking to the police, thinking that you are doing something that is so innocuous, so bland, so helpful. So that's my opinion, but I just wanted to say it to you again because I am never going to talk to the police. Never without a lawyer present, unless I absolutely am in front of a judge and the police is in the room, but I am never voluntarily going to talk to a police because it will only hurt me. I have that Fifth Amendment right. That's all I wanted to say.
Along the lines of the police.
Closer to your mouth. Closer to your mouth. Just put it right up.
And along with the police, what's going on in Portland with all the secret police? Did we get born into a fascist system? This seems like a fascist state with all the secret police coming in, thinking acting like they're doing, they run the stuff, but in reality, all they're doing is causing more and more people to see how corrupt the government is. Am I right? Yeah. And what happens to those who get taken by these secret police?
Yeah.
What happens to them? They could be friends or family, It's like right here.
There you go.
So what happens to them? I mean, they don't say nothing. They just take you and put you in their back of their car. And still, I got a friend up in Portland that nobody knows what happened to him after he got taken. So it's like, what's going on?
A little louder.
Yeah, closer to the mic.
I was close to.
Yeah, you're doing good.
Okay, so I want to go over a little bit of one of our targets. The first location is the mayor, Justin Cummings. Now, why are we marching to Justin Cummings' place? Well, because he ran as a progressive for tenants' rights and for homeless rights. And then, as soon as he was in office, he started voting and plotting against us. So, for instance, he was one of 2 city councilors that were on what they call the 2x2 committee, which was 2 people from Ryan Coonerty's office in the Santa Cruz Board of Supervisors, County Supervisors. Ryan is famous for owning predictive policing. So he was in that, organizing attacks against people living outside in Santa Cruz. That would include the towing operations that we're now seeing, which were stepped up. And one of the aspects of that, not only is there more ticketing of people living in their vehicles, so that it becomes too expensive to recover your vehicle or to register it if you're towed, but also markings on making 2-hour parking zones, banning parking in areas of the city, and going around and telling people, oh, you'll be safe over here if you park over there, and then ticketing them at the location they sent you to. But also, Then there became the issue where he could show that he was in fact progressive, which was rent control. And he voted against our interest in that. That was the first easy vote he could have made to show, because that rent control affected only 5,000 units in town. It was a symbolic, and he wouldn't even go for that. And then what was probably the most dreadful was he was the one vote necessary to evict the people from Ross Camp. And as we know, our friend Desiree was killed after that eviction. We know that many people were harmed because of that eviction. And he represented a city which was claiming that they could put every single person that was in Ross Camp into either a shelter or hotel room. And we testified in federal court that that was not possible. We were proven right. They just kept going forward with their campaigns. The only thing that kind of evolved out of that, it was 2 nights at the Santa Cruz Hotel for maybe 10 people. And 60 people got to go to the Boneyard or to the River Street area with no real good water. You had the limited access, and you live in a tent. And the other hundreds of people were like in doorways, and in the Pognip, and on the beach, and getting ticketed and harassed and having their belongings stolen by the police and by one another as a direct result. And the safety that women were finding at Ross Camp was now lost again. And so, and at the same time, the hypocrisy that Susie O'Hara, which lied on the oath, the city manager, then cries crocodile tears about being looked the wrong way by Drew Glover and Chris Cruz as part of a campaign to force them out to make sure there would be a right-wing, total right-wing city council, which we're faced with now, and the rest of the city councilors will be on this tour, including tonight both the mayor and the vice mayor. And so then at the end of this, we wanted to it may take a day or two to figure out the logistics for the other people, where we should meet and so on, but we'll keep people posted. There'll be Facebook postings, there'll be Twitter, there'll be everything, to flyers and so on, to announce the next 2 house demonstrations. And we may repeat house demonstrations until we get some kind of change in this community, where people are not, there's 22,000 people in this county filed for unemployment after COVID in the first month. 22,000. Those people are going to lose their unemployment. They're also among the people that will lose their housing in this community. And even if only 1,000, so to speak, of those people lose their housing, there would be a noticeable stress on the community, on the emergency room, on all those other things that are going on. So the city council, when they made one of their more egregious votes against homeless people by reaffirming that you cannot sleep outside or in a vehicle in the evening between, I think, I forget, I had it on a million plugs, 10 and 7. So that everybody that's in these vehicles that are being towed is also subject to being ticketed and arrested for sleeping. And so anyway, they had a study, and in that study they said in 2015 that the Santa Cruz police spent $14 million, over $14 million, tormenting the homeless. That's in 2015. It must be much higher. So when we're saying defund the police, what we're talking about is taking that $14 million and putting it into low-income housing, not the affordable housing, but low-income housing. And imagine if we had that money year in and year out. There would be no reason anybody would be living outside, unless they just wanted to live at the beach for their own enjoyment. So that's what defunding the police is all about. So not just cutting the budget by half. And putting that, so those people were housed, those people had access to drug treatment if they wanted that, if they had access to food, they had access to things, daycare, the stuff that people need. then there wouldn't be such a problem. But this city can't even provide water for people living outside. There's been an attempt to get a water program at the benchland. No such thing has happened. So this is, and we've been blocked from renting our own water trucks and things like that by the city manager's office. So when we want to solve a problem, the city government and the county government gets in the way, but they're not willing to solve the problem. So now it's clear that since society is collapsing, and it's up to us now to actually replace all these systems that are failing. We're living in a quickly failed state, and so I think that these kind of gatherings are important, where we can meet each other and start doing mutual aid, and also making it known that we're not going to put up with the government's interfering with our ability to solve our own problems. If they're not going to be solving them, they need to get out of the way. And so that's why we'll be marching to Justin Cummings' house. Thank you.
So my name is Robert, and I've been passing around flyers. If you haven't got a flyer and you raise your hand and you want one, I'll give you one after this is over. And also I'm passing around a sign-up sheet in case you want to be advised of the next event that I hear about that's going on. So feel free to do that or not, whatever is comfortable for you. I'm with a group called HUF, Homeless United for Friendship and Freedom. We've been pushing these issues for a long time. And we're glad that people are coming out and caring about them in very direct ways, because it becomes very clear that however good a guy personally Justin Cummings may be, and there's some people in this crowd who like him because they know him personally, and I can appreciate that. As an individual, that's one thing. As a politician, that can be quite another. And that's the issue for us, because politicians, human beings who get into politics tend to get, unfortunately, they become a part of a machine that oppresses other people. They make compromises, they believe they have to do deals, and they think they're doing the right thing when they're doing the wrong thing. But I don't think our job is to tell people what's right. Our job is to get them to do what's right. They can think whatever they want, they can say whatever they want, but it's how they act that counts. Now, Keith has already told you about the kind of the record of Cummings, and Alicia has talked about that too, perhaps a little bit. But what we really have, of course, is the increasing criminalization of homeless people, which is also the criminalization of the entire community. Because to get rid of homeless people, they can't use the word homeless. They have to, in fact, start restricting everyone and giving the police more extensive powers. And that is exactly what they're doing and have been doing for the last 3 decades in Santa Cruz. It's nothing new, but it's real, and it's become more sharper and clearer with this COVID crisis, because people are afraid, generally, to come out. And I'm glad to see that some people are coming out and saying this is as important and is worth risking. You're risking your health when you're out here, and that's an important thing that you're doing. You should try not to as much as you can. But when you're doing it, you're speaking for the health of the entire community here. And we're talking about the social health, political health, moral health, ethical health, spiritual health of the community, really. And that's what I'm concerned about here, too. And I can go on about details of why Justin Cummings is a problem. I've written him repeatedly about issues trying to get a response from him. I have got to say that, he, on an individual level, he has helped some people individually, but in terms of his packing with a reactionary majority at City Council, he was responsible, I think, for the defeat of the progressive agenda last year, and of course he is responsible for no action on defunding the police, which has been the overwhelming sentiment of people calling into City Council for the last 3 City Council meetings. I'm talking about these phony baloney, but still supposedly legal City Council meetings that are happening not in person, but online. Now the fact that even in that limited venue, even in that limited area, the overwhelming majority of cases are reasonable people saying, look, we need to defund the police or abolish the police department for the following reasons. And they give them, and you've heard some of them here, and many of you know what they are, and that's why you're here. But Cummings doesn't do anything except go down on a knee with a police chief. You know, I mean, come on. And continue to resist, for example, this is the issue that concerns me and Alicia and the Homeless Union and Huff, the group I work with. The fact that there's money being held back from many of these hotels and motels around us have plenty of vacancies. I don't say this from personal knowledge, but it is my suspicion and my speculation that that is the case. And there's money being held back from this project house key or room key that Governor Newsom put out, and it's not being used, and it's not being accounted for. Instead, you have the group shelters that I think Alicia talked about, which now are beginning to look like, at least in Watsonville, have created a COVID outbreak. And that is something that affects the entire community, but it also affects particularly people who are outside, who associate with each other, and many of whom don't have masks, or don't, you know, partially, and their resources are less than ours who are housed. So anyway, that's kind of, I can go on and on and on, but I won't. Anybody else want to go on here about this? Again, I remind you, if you want a flyer, I'm giving out a little flyer about the next protest that I've heard about, which is on the 27th. And the 27th is Monday. There goes my mask. Monday at the courthouse, where pirate Marty Mirabel, I think somebody might have already mentioned this, the man whose vehicle was stolen, the man whose friend's vehicle was stolen, is facing a pre-trial for, I don't know, how many felonies? Anybody know how many felonies? At least one and a bunch of other charges, I know that for sure. But today I witnessed 6 or 7 police cars on Pacific Avenue take away a man named Jeremiah for a warrant. They didn't say what the warrant was for. Normally, there are a lot of people who get warrants in this community who are outside for such things as trespassing, violating the sleeping ban, and doing other things that are, in essence, minor infractions and really no crimes at all, but a function of homeless survival. These 6 squad cars and the 6 or 7 cops that came to confront one person blocked the road. They didn't beat him up, but they did not give him when he said he wanted to sign, he initially did not want to sign what we call a promise to appear. And that's because he said police have been harassing him repeatedly. He did not have a warrant out, they insisted he did. Finally he said, as they attempted to handcuff him, I'll sign the warrant, let me be. They refused, forced him into the squad car, and took him away. Again, it looked to me like what I saw in Portland without the tear gas and without the beatings so far. And that's what concerned me, and that's one of the reasons I'm here. So anyway, if you want one of these flyers and you don't have it, lift up your hand, I'll give it to you. It just essentially reminds you of the date on the 27th, Monday, coming up, and also mentions this incident that happened today. I'm also circulating, if you want to be advised of the next protest, put down your name, email, and I will, when I hear about it, pass it on to you. Okay. Thanks for listening, folks.
Okay, so Marty's going to say a couple of words. Does anybody over here want to say words? Okay, Marty will say something, and then we'll have...
I love you, Marty!
Love you too, Alicia. Thanks for coming, everybody. Showing your support. I appreciate it. A lot. Yeah. I don't know what to say, really. It's like first time I've ever done something like this.
You're grateful to be out of jail.
Well, you don't compromise your case either, though.
Tell why you did it.
Okay.
Hold it right up to your mouth. Alright, well, so what's happened, we were just like chilling in our usual spot where we've been for like a week or so, and we noticed there were a lot of cops around. We were wondering what that was about, and then all of a sudden they rolled up on us, and we're like looking at our stuff, questioning us about the vehicle, and Ben just didn't want to deal with it really at the time. He just like went off, got a coffee, just trying to relax, because he was still kind of waking up. I was running around with my chicken with my head cut off, trying to get all the badge numbers, names, cruiser numbers, and license plates. Yeah, and then as I was getting the tow truck's number, because they were like, well, before that too, they were like going through his vehicle without like a warrant or anything. They opened the doors, pulling things out. We were all like, what are you doing? Like, that's illegal. You don't have a warrant. And they weren't listening. They just kept on doing it. We were all yelling at them, like, all of us, like, yelling at them. They kept on doing it. That's why I started running around getting their names, numbers. Yeah, and then I got the great idea while I was writing down the name of the towing company and their license plate number. Like, oh, I'll get on top of the car and then they won't be able to tow it. Or, so I thought. And got on there, yelled freedom, which I had forgotten after I had done it. And I was like in jail. I'm like, wait, what did I even say when I got up there? I don't know. I'll find out, I'm sure. Yeah, and so I jumped up there, said that, and then one of the cops grabbed me by the ankles and yanked me down. And as I was coming down, I hit him. And then the other cops jumped on me and threw me to the ground and arrested me. But I pretty much just led him after that point. But not without telling him my points of views and what pieces of shit they are and all that. And sort of yelled at my friends too. Called them all bitches because they weren't doing anything. Just letting me get arrested. I was hoping maybe someone would jump on the cop and be like, get the fuck off my friend! Maybe next time.
I wasn't there, bro.
I know. A lot of people weren't there.
I just missed it, bro.
Yeah.
How'd I go?
Yeah.
You already know, bro. You already know. We'd have gone down together, bro. You already know.
Yeah, and so, yeah.
We're here for you, pirate.
Yeah. And, so they brought me to the jail and posted me, and I was being difficult with them, not really compliant.
Rightfully so.
Yep, they were trying to ask me questions, and I was like, I think I'm just gonna wait for a lawyer. And they were like, okay. They were like, no more further questions then, I guess. And so they just did what they did. Took me in, and I don't know. I fought with them about clothing. I was like, I want to wear my clothing, not yours. Get that out of my way. I don't want that. My clothes. I don't know. Went on from there. Short. I mean, I can tell you more, but yeah. There's a lot. Moving to questions.
So instead of that money, that was taxpayer money. He was surrounded by police officers. They ripped him off the vehicle. They put him on the ground. There's a video of that. I think someone counted, I don't know, there were more than 10 officers on the scene. And that's taxpayer money.
Down I think 7 names or something.
That's taxpayer money being used to hurt already vulnerable, impacted individuals.
Exactly.
And so when we say, defund the police, what we're saying is refund the community. Take that money and put it into programs that would have helped Pirate, rather than supporting a system that would have ripped him out of his only shelter and tow it away, charging more money than he can come up with to get it back, leaving him shelterless and in further harm. That's unacceptable. And that's taxpayer money. That's money that could be used to bring our community up rather than tearing it down.
Can you all hear me? Yeah. My name is Cruz, and I was on the city council until last month, when a bunch of real estate and developer interests took Drew Glover and I off the council in a $200,000. They spent over $200,000 to get us off the council. The stakes couldn't be higher in Santa Cruz right now. Could not be higher. There's a bunch of real estate development issues on the agenda. As soon as we got off the council, they passed the library garage project. They passed a housing project on Ocean Street. Ocean Street. We're talking major. They're not building housing for people who live here now. They are building housing for folks from over the hill, which fine if they, people are fine to exist, but they don't have to live in Santa Cruz. We need to be developing housing for folks who live here now. Right behind you is the wharf, the Santa Cruz wharf. They want to put that thing on steroids. They want to put 2-3-story buildings on that wharf. We have this despite the needs right now are housing, right? And affordable housing in Santa Cruz. And they're talking about developing the wharf. They're totally, in a different world.
They're just trying to keep the rich satisfied.
Yes, exactly. And the library garage is a perfect example of that. We're talking about maybe having it as a downtown commons, a place where people can actually socially distance. They want a 6-story parking garage. They're talking about, they're dangling affordable housing. They don't have the money for it right now. The city has several sites in which to build affordable housing, and that is not one of the sites to build it. And there's a huge major push against it to remodel the library where it is. And hopefully you will support that. We have a city council candidate here, Alicia Cool. Alicia, raise your hand. She's running because she's adamantly, interested in seeing people housed and seeing, I see this defend vehicular homes. Yes, we all need to defend vehicular homes. This is like, what? We're in a crisis right now, and the police are like bothering people who are living in their homes, their vehicles. This can't be. We cannot allow this to happen. We need to move on this. A lot of times, thank you. We're talking about, defund the police is not something that is gaining traction with more than 50% of the people. I think we need to talk about also reallocating. I heard Alicia say refund
the community.
We need to refund money from the police budget to the people of Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
That is why we're here. We know that the police, believe it or not, they agree. They can't do mental health issues. They can't do housing issues. They can't do employment issues. We need to put that money where, we're needed most. And so we're spending right now $28.6 million on the police budget.
Oh, fuck that.
They are actually, if we don't do anything, they're going to go to $31 million. That is the proposal. Folks, we need to say, okay, there's pensions involved. They're going to say we're not raising the police budget. We're just funding their pensions. Well, find it somewhere else. We need to cut that budget and fund human needs where it's needed most. Thank you.
Are people ready to march? Yeah! Okay, who wants to be yelling the slogan?
You like singing? Who's got the singing here? I love singing. Come on now. Street legend themes. Yankee, come on now. No, I don't. Nothing of the sort. Oh God. Oh my God. Come on, bro. Gotta just do the banana gun, man. I'm too calm now.
bikes all the way down to the river?
Great words, man. Great words. Hey, I never answer questions. That's what you say. I don't answer questions.
He has a cozy house, and he's still willing to steal people's cars that they're living in. He's willing to make laws that help the wealthy build luxury condos in our community while people are struggling to live. His eviction plan was that you could get on a lottery and to get on a list to get a maximum of $5,000, 2 months rent, that would be it. And that would be a small percentage of the potentially 20,000 people in this county who could end up needing rent assistance. 20,000. And there's no plan. This city has no plan to help us, the people that live here. Their plan is to help people from other cities profit by building luxury apartments. If you've ever read the Homewrecker, that book Homewrecker, in there it describes why there's all these luxury condos being built all over the world with nobody living in them. When I went to the National Union of the Homeless training in Hell's Kitchen in New York City, there were all these tall glass buildings with luxury condos taped, on the windows, and hundreds of people living in blue tarps around the base of these luxury condos that had no people living in them. And that's what Justin Cummings, who is here, is supporting. He's harming our community. He posed as a progressive when he ran. Down with the mayor. Up with the people.
Let's let him know we're here. Let's make some noise.
No justice, no peace.
you didn't address the complaint or any of the demands that you read in front of the police station during that protest. You still haven't responded to those demands.
Shame!
Shame!
Shame on you, Mayor!
Fight, fight, fight! Housing is a right! 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 Hello, Mayor Cummings. My name is Cruz. I'm a United States Air Force veteran, and sir, if it would be so kind of you to honorably come downstairs and speak with us, as we did not want to disturb your neighbors, sir. I'd really appreciate it, sir. I don't want to disturb the children, but it'd be very kind of you, sir.
Come outside.
If you're in the upstairs unit, sir, if you're there, we'd just like to have a little chat, sir. Well, the people who live there have already come down. I don't know if you're home or not. Are you home? Are you home? All right, sir.
You didn't even bring pitchforks this time. What's up?
Yeah, sir. We're trying to. Sir, just remember that when your neighbors see you, they're going to have this conversation with you, and they're going to say to you, sir, there was a lot of people in front of your door asking why they have to be homeless in their car. Now, sir, I'm a United States Air Force veteran. I was homeless in my car for almost 2.5 years, sir.
Shame.
And I couldn't find housing, and I kept getting arrested and arrested and arrested and arrested and arrested and arrested and arrested, car impounded, losing everything that I had again and again and again. From here, from Santa Cruz to Monterey to San Francisco, sir. So please make the correct decision. That's all right. That's okay. You know what?
Don't be disappointed if he's not here, because we go keep coming back here. We know where this is, and I think that these politicians all across the country, and particularly in our corrupt city, need to be reminded over and over again. And it sends a message when you're in front of their house and neighbors see that there is a lot of anger. You know, people worked for Justin Cummings to run for city council, and then he sold us out. He's supposed to be the fourth vote for tenants' rights. He was the fourth vote to attack tenants. He's supposed to be the fourth vote to stop the eviction at Ross Camp until there was a real safe way for everyone to have a safe place to be. He voted to just kick everybody into the doorways, into Poconos, into the parks, knowing full well there was no place for people to go. He said he has endorsed this towing campaign, where they ticket your cars if you seem to live in them until you have so many tickets you can't afford to get them out of impound, and you get your housing taken from you. And this is increasing, and that's what the final spark was a pirate trying to defend Ben's house from being towed. And we're seeing this every day. We buy people batteries, tires. We do everything we can to try to make it so as many people who live in their cars as possible and not lose their vehicles that they're living in. And yet you have Justin Cummings dropping a knee in front of his anti-homeless bench, where he had Russell and Cooper arrested at the first days of the pandemic. Then they did a police sweep, even though the CDC says it's outrageous to be sweeping homeless camps because it's safer if the people just stay together in their camp than to be moved around. Now we're seeing COVID in the shelter in Watsonville. We're going to see COVID in these shelters. There's empty, everybody around here knows there's empty hotel rooms. You just walk around. How many tourists are down here at the boardwalk now with the COVID? Like virtually nobody. So, you know, there's places to put everybody. The governor provided money to place everybody in these hotels. Justin Cummings, who knows what happened with that money? He's been involved in anti-homeless organizing since the day he was elected city councilor. So after this, we're going to go to the vice mayor, who will be the next mayor, who is just as viciously anti-homeless, anti-people, a total racist. She's like a bona fide overt racist.
Can I just say something about that? Do you remember when she said she did an entire complaint and they did a Rose report, $18,000+ they spent to investigate possible snicker or something almost offensive, inaudible. But during a city council meeting, she slammed her hand down and yelled that she could not be a racist because she's a lesbian.
Bullshit.
Need I say any more about that?
Not my lesbian.
Not appropriate. Not appropriate.
Okay, do we want to now march to Donna Myers, or you say a few more words for Justin and his neighbors? This is really directed so when the neighbors come out and they see him, they remind him that there are people very upset about his ill treatment of working people and poor and homeless in this community.
Quiero explicar lo que estamos protestando aquí. Yo sé que muchos de los vecinos aquí tienen las mismas dificultades con el precio de la renta aquí. Lo que estamos protestando es que mucha gente sin casa están viviendo en sus coches, sus autos. Y la ciudad, el alcalde, las policías aquí están tomando los autos y la gente queda sin lugar para dormir. Especialmente en la pandemia como es muy peligroso. Entonces estamos protestando que el alcalde, votamos por él porque prometió que iba a apoyar a la comunidad, que necesitamos que baje la renta, que tenemos lugar para vivir que no cuesta tanto y que la gente que queda sin casa, tenemos que protegerlos. Si alguien quiere decir algo, pueden venir, te escuchamos. Gracias.
Mic check. Alright, there's just something that I want to say, and that is, fuck you, Donald Trump, and your federales from Santa Cruz, California!
One last thing for the mayor. The fact that he is not here proves he does not care for the people. Because we have done nothing but peaceful, so the fact he's not here, it proves he cares nothing for the people he represents.
He knew we were going to be here.
Still, you know, if you care,
Yeah,
he would
I
have...
have a strong feeling he knew we were going to be here and he intentionally avoided us this evening.
That's right.
Boo!
Okay, now the woman that's going to be responsible for harassing the people of Santa Cruz for the next 12 months will be the Vice Mayor, Donna Myers, and we'll now march to her Tony neighborhood. And we want to thank all the people here in the Beach Flats for being patient with us, and it's a real honor to be in your community, and we're honored to work with you with the homeless guard.
We love you!
So, please talk to Justin if you see him. Tell him that this is what we've been doing. Okay, so now we're going to march up this way, make a left at this intersection, and go down back to the wharf, and then past the wharf. Cool. Okay. Who wants to lead this chant again?
Up with the people.
Down with the mayor. Up with the people.
Down with the mayor. Up with the people. Down with the mayor. Up with the people. Down with the mayor. Up with the people.
Down with the mayor.
Up with the people.
When do we want it?
What do we want?
Justice!
When
have the right amount of wind.
Take it to the streets and fuck the police.
No justice, no peace. Take it to the streets and fuck the police. No justice, no peace. Take it to the streets and fuck the police. No justice, no peace.
Take it to the streets and fuck the police. No justice, no peace.
Take it to the streets and fuck the police. No justice, no peace. Take it to the streets and fuck the police. No justice, no peace. Take it to the streets and fuck the police. No justice, no peace. Take it to the streets and fuck the police. No justice, no peace. Take it to the streets and fuck the police. No justice, no peace. Take it to the streets and fuck the police. No justice, no peace. Take it to the streets and fuck the police. No justice, no peace. Take it to the streets and fuck the police. No justice, no peace. Take it to the streets and fuck the police. No justice, no peace. Take it to the streets and fuck the police. No justice, no peace. Take it to the streets and fuck the police. No justice, no peace. Take it to the streets and fuck the police. No justice, no peace. Take it to the streets and fuck the police. No justice, no peace. Take it to the streets and fuck the police. No justice, no peace. Take it to the streets and fuck the police. No justice, no peace. Take it to the streets and fuck the police. No justice, no peace. Take it to the streets and fuck the police. No justice, no peace. Take it to the streets and fuck the police. No justice, no peace. Take it to the streets and fuck the police. No justice, no peace. Take it to the streets and fuck the police. No justice, no peace. Take it to the streets and fuck the police. No justice, no peace. Take it to the streets and fuck the police.
Take it to the streets and fuck the police. No justice, no peace. Take it to the streets and fuck the police. No justice, no peace. Take it to the streets and fuck the police. No justice, no peace. Take it to the streets and fuck the police. No justice, no peace. Take it to the streets and fuck the police. No justice, no peace. Take it to the streets and fuck the police.
I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Fuck 12.
Fuck 12. Fuck the racist police.
13's okay.
Unity God, come on.
No cops, no KKK, no fascist USA. 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 No Trump, no KKK, no fascist USA. No bosses, no KKK, no fascist USA. No cops, 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 no KKK, no fascist USA.
No cops, no KKK, no fascist USA. No cops, no KKK, no fascist USA. No cops, no KKK, no fascist USA. No cops, no KKK, no fascist USA. No cops, no KKK, no fascist USA. No cops, no KKK, no fascist USA. No cops, no KKK, no fascist USA.
Eat the rich, we're paying you guys.
Whose streets?
Our streets,
Whose streets?
our streets, 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 our Fuck the DEA!
You ever see that?
Fuck the racist police!
Fuck Andrew Mills!
Fuck Andy Mills! All cops are bastards! All cops are bastards! All cops are bastards!
All cops are bastards! All cops are bastards!
I hope you guys are enjoying your dinner here. I hope that dinner tastes good. All cops are bastards! All cops are bastards!
ACAB!
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 All cops are bastards! ACAB! All cops are bastards! ACAB! All cops are bastards! ACAB! All cops are bastards! ACAB! All cops are bastards! ACAB! All cops are bastards! ACAB! All cops are bastards! ACAB! All cops are bastards! ACAB! All cops are bastards! ACAB! All cops are bastards!
ACAB!
All cops are bastards! 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 ACAB! All cops are bastards! ACAB! All cops are bastards! All cops are bastards! All cops are bastards! All cops are bastards! If you are